أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد.
The subject I chose for this meeting is ethical values to secure healthy society. What are the ethical values which are essential for building any society which is healthy and working towards a betterment of every member of that society? By doing so, I try to trace what are the guidelines of Imam Ali alayhi salam, which are compiled in Nahj Balagha in various parts of Nahj Balagha. And we know that for the 5 years, starting year 35 after Hijrah till year 40, the great mosque of Kufa witnessed sermons, lectures, consultations, and sometimes very short sayings which are considered to be maxims, pieces of wisdom which are for itself, each one may be short, but it indicates and refers to a vast and wide concept of what the Imam is trying to tell us about. So, all this is to see how Imam Ali alayhi salam deals with this subject. I chose only 5 points to restrict our subject to these points first, and at the same time not to take much of your time, so we concentrate in a better way on these subjects. The first task or the first value is justice, and I try here to trace in Nahj Balagha how Imam Ali alayhi salam is focusing on justice as something to guarantee a healthy society, not necessarily within the Muslim community, rather that every society to be acting towards the best of the and advancements of the moral values, they have to observe justice or adala. First of all, we remember that one of the great documents in the administration in the early days of Islam to be found in the document that Imam Ali alayhi salam provided and gave to his governor who was appointed to Egypt, Malik al-Ashtar. Malik al-Ashtar was a great companion about whom that Imam alayhi salam, after he was martyred, said that رحم الله مالكا فقد كان لي كما كنت لرسول الله. The same relation between me and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Holy Messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we see that exactly the same between Malik al-Ashtar and Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, how loyal and great was the learning and acting about the teachings of the Prophet by Imam Ali alayhi salam. We see the same as in the seerah and the biography of Malik to Imam Ali alayhi salam. So, unfortunately, Malik al-Ashtar was martyred, and history doesn't tell us how these golden advices have been practiced in Egypt. But let's agree that up to date, the early document to talk about every single part of the administration in Islam. We see it in this Ahd al-Imam ila Malik al-Ashtar, which is available in Nahj Balagha and many other sources. Indeed, one of the lawyers in Iraq wrote a commentary on this in 500 pages, and the name of the lawyer was Tawfiq al-Fikiki. And Tawfiq al-Fikiki wrote a commentary on this Ahd al-Imam ila Malik al-Ashtar, and the title of his book is Al-Ra'i wal-Ra'iyyah. The Al-Ra'i would mean that the person with authority who is in charge, and Ra'iyya, the people or the subjects. Now, in that, Imam Ali alayhi salam advises Malik by saying, وَإِنَّ أَفْضَلَ قُرَّةِ الْعَيْنِ الْوُلَاةِ أو قرة عين الولاة استقامة العدل في البلاد وظهور مودة الرعية. That the best task which keeps the whole nation strong and harmonious treatment will be evident in the society is what to be seen by justice. And the one who holds the authority, the one who is in charge, by observing this, secures every fairness in the community. When we try to trace this in the Quran and in the teachings of the prophets and Imams, first of all, in the Quran, we read, "O you who believe, stand firmly with justice." And this is in Quran, Surah number 4, ayah 135. When a person sitting as a judge in the court and wants to pass a judgment when there is dispute between two parties, to be unbiased and to be in the maximum level of this impartiality, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you judge with impartiality, for truly Allah loves those who are just. And this is in Quran, Surah number 5, ayah 42. Another mention that it is not only addressed to Muslims, even to all nations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that all the messengers, all the prophets have been sent with this very important teaching and task, and that is what? Justice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, we send our messengers with clear proofs and send with them the book and the balance, so that people can establish themselves in justice. And this is in Surah 57, ayah 25. So these are few references or Quranic references to the issue of justice and how important is that. Let's remember that in one occasion, Imam Ali alayhi salam is apparently the head of the state. He is the Khalifa, the Imam, unanimously agreed by all, and people paid allegiance to him. And a Jewish person had a dispute with the Imam about the shield. So said that the shield with Imam Ali alayhi salam is mine. So no one stopped him from referring the case to the Qadi of the time, and he was Shuraih al-Qadi. Shuraih al-Qadi was appointed by the Imam to sit and judge between the disputing people, parties. So the Imam sitting here and the Jewish person there. So it is obvious that when the claimant is saying something, he will ask for proofs. And the proofs are either witnesses, 2 witnesses, reliable witnesses, or any piece of paper or any sign to prove, or the what? When the other party confesses, because al-iqraru sayyidul adillah. The confession is the master of the proofs. So when they said, the Qadi Shuraih al-Qadi addressed Imam Hassan alayhi salam by Abu al-Hassan, and this is kunya. Addressed that Jewish person by name. The Imam got angry, and Shuraih, the ignorant person, thought that Imam got, unhappy about this, because why the Imam is addressing them in this way. So the Imam said, look, you have to treat us both equally. You called him by his name, you should call me by my name, Ali. Because in the Arab culture, when a person is called by name, is some sort of disrespect, but by kunya. For example, my name is Father, yeah? Okay, friends call me Father, what's your father? But in the Arabs, culture, Arabic culture, they should call me Abu Haydar. Okay, name me after my eldest son, all right? So when Al-Qadi Shuraih addressed Imam Ali alayhi salam by saying Abu Hassan, and addressed the Jewish person by his name, the Imam said, no, you should treat us equally. Don't address me in a way that better or more respectful in comparison to my opponent. Of course, we remember the issue of Aqil, Imam's brother, and you have heard that, I think, in many lectures or read that in many articles, that Aqil had, he was blind, and his sons, he was suffering the maximum of poverty. And the Imam describes that, saying, وَقَدْ أَمْلَقْ وَرَأَيْتُ صُبْيَانَهُ شُعْثِ الشُّعُورِ غُبْرَ الْأَلْوَانِ مِنْ فَقْرِهِمْ. So he described how distressful was their case. But he came with one thing and asked Imam alayhi salam, requested Imam alayhi salam that give me a bit more of the share from Bayt al-Mal, from treasury. حَتَّى اسْتَمَاحَنِي مِنْ بُرِّكُمْ صَاعًا. And sa' is approximately 3 kilograms. So the share of each one in the whatever was in Bayt al-Mal, the treasury, was, for example, 100 or 20 or 30, for example, kilograms. So Aqil, Imam's brother, wanted only 3 kilograms extra because of his whatever dependents who were in need. And what did Imam to him? That he took a piece of iron, put it in fire. When it was flame there, one can feel the flame, brought it near to Aqil's hand. So he felt unhappy about it. What are you doing? Said that you are trying to allow me to taste the fire of hell, and you don't bother with that, and you are requesting me to give you something extra. So these are examples in the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And if we remember something before that, and I'm referring to a few days after the demise of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when Fadak was confiscated from Lady Fatima, and she was deprived from her right over that land which Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gifted to her. So she went to the mosque, and all the Muhajirin and Ansar are sitting there. She addressed them in a very eloquent way, explained everything, and explained 20 philosophies of Islamic rulings one by one, which in my book, Fatima al-Zahra al-Mu'abiha, I wrote 50 years ago in Arabic, and it has been published many times in Arabic. Now, alhamdulillah, it has been translated into English and will be published soon. Fatima al-Zahra al-Mu'abiha, mother to her father. How can a daughter become a mother to her father? Inshallah, when the opportunity of would be published, is available, then we see how this happened. How the Prophet described her as Abiha, mother to her father. There's a chapter about philosophizing certain religious teachings or parts of Islamic law, 20 of them. When she comes to justice, Lady Fatima, peace be upon her, says justice brings harmony to hearts. Justice brings harmony to hearts. So, when we trace this in the document given by the Prophet, by Imam Ali alayhi salam to Malik al-Ashtar, compare it with some ayat from the Quran about justice, the practice of the Imam himself, we conclude that to behave justly towards ourselves, our families, relatives, neighbors, employers, employees, we must restrict ourselves to parameters of divine law. On no accounts may we bestow inappropriate advantage to disrupt order and balance. Allama Majlisi in Bihar al-Anwar, volume 75, page 344, narrates a very nice story. He says that a seeker of wisdom followed a wise man 700 miles for the answer to 7 questions. One of the questions was about one of those 7. He asked that wise person, what is greater than the whole world? Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu Akbar, we know. But when we talk about everything in the world other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the greatest? So to this, the sage answered a single word, and that was justice. So here we can talk about justice in hours and hours, but because it is one of the aspects of our subject and theme today, and that is the ethical values to secure healthy society as we find it in Nahj Balagha. That is what we try to, to follow and find in different sources, whether it is in Nahj Balagha, in Ghurar al-Hikam. By the way, the maxims and short sayings of Imam alayhi salam are not restricted to Nahj Balagha towards the end. Rather, a scholar called al-Amidi compiled these maxims, which are very, very short, and they go for something like 2,400 such short sayings. It is called Ghurar al-Hikam with Ghurar al-Kalim, collected by Amidi. And here, the Imam alayhi salam says that whoever is in charge of 10 people and does not deal with them justly will on the day of judgment arrive with their hands and legs in chains. And as I said, this is in al-hikam, again, he said justice is the most secure of foundations. So, when we see how Imam Ali alayhi salam deals in Nahj al-Balagha and all other sources about what secures and guarantees the healthy society, of course, we end up with one word, and that is the significance and the role of justice. Brothers and sisters, we see the problems of our time. If we want to summarize them in one word, it is corruption, the bloodshed, misinterpretation, and extremism, whatever hidden agenda. If we want to summarize all these ugly things, we can summarize them on one thing, and that is injustice. So what we suffer, and the whole humanity suffers from, is injustice. What the matrimonial problems, which are ever increasing in our community, not only within the Muslim communities, we see it in everywhere, in the East, in the West, in Muslim countries, in European countries. All disputes and problems. What we see about the politicians and their nasty wax and whatever activities are every day seen here and there. What we see that some people in the name of Islam trying to do maximum injustice to Islam first and to other people later. So it is all to tell us how justice is a central point in the whole community and the whole society, but how injustice is the main source of destroying the society, every society. The second point in Nahj al-Balagha about these ethical values, which are so important to keep the community healthy, is to conceal or the concealments of faults and shortcomings. Unfortunately, nowadays you see that these WhatsApps and Instagram, the WhatsApps and whatever emails, electronic devices, yeah. When someone commits a mistake in a corner of the world, in Australia, in less than 10 seconds you see that spread everywhere. Is it true? And the worst thing is this, that when, alhamdulillah, I don't use WhatsApp, any of these days, because I don't have time. Okay? The moment it reaches me, I try to forward it to the group, and sometimes I have people, not me, okay, have 5, 6 different groups, okay? And this spreading to tens of people, and tens of people again. So, as I said, if someone sneezes in Australia or in Vancouver, yeah, immediately, either the text or the picture that Mrs. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so sneezed today. Let's be very serious about this, brothers and sisters. When somebody notices shortcoming or a fault in someone else, let's talk about our community, our society. Yeah? So, why? What makes me to spread that and allow, is it something so beneficial and so important? Does it serve any good service to my community? So I try to allow everybody knows about that. For example, someone made a mistake in quoting an ayah in the Quran. A khatib or speaker, for example, said something wrong, immediately you see that, oh, moving from one group to another, to another, to another. Is that something good? Does it help in keeping the society and the community healthy or not? First of all, let me tell you something. That one of the most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Sattar al-Uyub. The one who conceals the faults. I met an alim in Tehran long time ago that he was able to read the minds of people. The moment a person would come to see this alim, immediately he would read the mind of the guest. And I dared to go and ask him, how could he get where from he got that merit or experience? He said, see, Father, that one day an old man knocked at my door and, excuse my language, the moment he sat down, he passed away. He could not contain himself. So he was so embarrassed. I pretended that I did not notice and did not hear that by saying that Mr. So-and-so had been to the bathroom and I think there is some soap in my ears, so please speak loud. So he had some sort of confidence and tried to speak loudly. He said, no, please, louder. To the extent that I made him know or believe that I never heard him. See, I never heard him. The moment he left, I found myself, anyone who comes, I can read his mind. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Sattar al-Uyub, concealer of the faults. Okay? The moment you come close to one of the divine attributes, one of the most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you get that spirituality in. So, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous, and whilst you are generous, you show some sort of generous, for example, approach to somebody, helping them without even make announcement about it. Alright? To the extent that in some hadith we see that your right hand doesn't know what you gave by your left hand. This is the sincerity when you pay, when you contribute, when you do charity. Yeah? You spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what definitely has a role in giving you some sort of spirituality and ability to go closer, not physically, spiritually to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, the moment you conceal the faults of others. And brothers and sisters, let me give you another example. We have two types of insects. There is an insect which goes to the flowers and takes the best of it and makes honey of it. And these are the bees. And another insect finds any dirty place to go and focus on the dirty place, and that is the fly. So Islam wants us, Imam Ali alayhi salam wants us, the Islamic teaching and spiritual teachings wants us to be like the bee, which we make the best of the flowers, we make honey of them, فيه شفاء للناس, and not to be like the fly, which always finds something dirty to point out. Yeah? Now, let's see how Imam Ali alayhi salam explained this for us. Again, Imam Ali alayhi salam in his document to Malik al-Ashtar, which is document number 453 in Nahj al-Balagha. Imam Ali alayhi salam said that, addressing Malik, وَلْيَكُنْ أَبْعَدُ رَعِيَّتِكَ مِنْكَ وَأَشْنَأُهُمْ عِنْدَكَ or أَبْعَدَ رَعِيَّتِكَ مِنْكَ وَأَشْنَأُهُمْ عِنْدَكَ أطلبهم لمعائب الناس فإن في الناس عيوبا الوالي أحق من سترها فلا تكشفن عما غاب عنك منها. The worst of your administrators should be the most inquisitive of people's shortcomings. So this, the Imam alayhi salam tells that, see for those who want to ask their assistance in the administrative work, in whatever part of your, authority, see those who are interested only in fault finding, and feel happy about it. Oh, I found that person did this and that, I read. So let them to be the worst, and you try to keep them away from your circles. Okay? So in this way, the Imam alayhi salam wants to tell us about learning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be concealing the faults and shortcomings. And don't try to. So we see that in one occasion, somebody reported to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that a man and a woman illegally, as he puts it, the person who reported, are gathering in a house. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Ali, Imam Ali alayhi salam, go and see what you find, report it to me. History tells us that the Imam went there, he closed his eye and tried to touch the wall, and when he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said that I saw nothing. So it is not a privilege that, you are trying to, and this goes within the family. For example, a mother-in-law, excuse my language, a mother-in-law, if she finds something faulty in her daughter-in-law, or in son-in-law, or a friend, or relative, or partner in business, or the neighbor finds something, or a student in the classroom, but something faulty, if they keep that for themselves and do not make it public, that is a merit. That is what keeps the society going. Otherwise, we see how the consequences are bad and evil. So we spoke about justice in Nahj al-Balagha, the teachings of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Second, about concealment of the faults. And now, the third point, or the third value, because I spoke about the ethical values to secure the healthy society, as we learned from Nahj al-Balagha, from Imam Ali alayhi salam, we see that it is to consult those who are more experienced. It is, in Arabic, istishara, or to consult, or to seek mashwara, which means to consult others about our affairs. Imam Ali alayhi salam puts it in two ways. I'm quoting two parts of Nahj al-Balagha about it. One is Maxim 161, Kalimat al-Qisar 161. The other one, Maxim 173. The first one, the Imam alayhi salam says, "Man istabadda bi ra'yihi halak, wa man shawara ar-rijala sharakaha fi uquliha." Those who are self-centered and stick only to their own opinions destroy the society. Those who consult others share their wisdom. Brothers and sisters, this is very, very important. When we decide or plan for something, let us consult others, discuss it with those who have more experience about the subject. Why? First of all, the Imam ﷺ said that when you consult others, man shawara rijal. Rijal doesn't mean necessarily that men, so that ladies feel offended. Oh, this is just to consult man. No, it is in no reference to gender at all. No, other people. There are some people who think that they are always right and they don't need to ask others. By the way, once I bought a small book and the title of the book is funny. It says, The Art of Being Always Right. I have it in my library. You are surprised to see that someone writes about this subject. Of course, it is something in the society, maybe many evidences or many aspects of that are evident, so that the writer bothered to write a book about it. The right of being always right. Because you think that I'm always right and others are wrong. All right? This is really one of the elements to destroy the community, the society. The well-being of a community or society is based on consulting and learning from others. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادِ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ هَدَاهُمُ اللَّهُ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. Give glad tidings to my servants, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادِ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. They listen to variety of opinions, but they try to follow the best out of them. أولئك الذين هداهم الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are the people who are guided by Allah. That the benefit of guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأولئك هم أولو الألباب. These are people of mind. So, when you consult others, learn from their experiences. But the second point is in maxim number 173, when Imam alayhi salam says, من استقبل وجوه الآراء عرف مواضع الخطأ. Compare between various opinions and you become aware of the pitfalls. Unfortunately, again, many people are so influenced by the media. And nowadays, the mainstream media plays a very bad role in giving wrong ideas to people. You listen to, for example, a report or anything in the newspaper or the TV or whatever, media produced, and you think that this is the ultimate truth. No. You try to listen to other opinions, and then you try to weigh between them, see which one is more logical and more reasonable to accept. And here I want to focus on one important issue, the difference between istishara and istikhara. I don't know how much you are involved in the issue of istikhara. There are people every day call my office for 2 istikharas. The same person, the same 1 and 2. And there is one who calls for 4. First, say I want 2 istikharas, number 1 and number 2. When I answer that again, another 2 istikharas, 1 and 2. And sometimes I tell them, look, for my own life, sometimes I do istikhara only once a year or twice a year. I don't claim that I know everything, but I am ordered by Quran, by Islam, by Imam Ali al-Islam, to think, to balance things, to weigh things, and consult. When I'm stuck and I can't make my mind, then I go for istikhara. And say somebody came to ask the hand of my daughter, would you please take istikhara? And because, I mean, to make them all in one go, so the secretary tells them, okay, your name and how many, 1, 2. Then after Salat al-Dhuhr, when I finish, I see a list of 10, 20, 15. For example, the secretary brings me and I answer them. And I notice that some names are repeated as yesterday and the day before. Okay. Brothers and sisters, we have to do istishara before istikhara. Which means that, I mean, when a person comes to ask the hand of my daughter, or I want to go to choose a daughter for my son, then I try first to ask about the background. I see how reasonable, how how these people find themselves up to that level of responsibility. Are they responsible? Do they know how to handle the cases? Are they able to control their anger? And one of these things, unfortunately, when people in the East tell them that, I suggest that you see someone who can deal this issue of anger management. Am I crazy? Is there any wrong with me? They feel offended immediately. But, I mean, it is very obvious that from the first approach and response, I see that you are so angry that even you find it difficult for me to accept it. All right? So istishara means to consult, to see the background and to weigh things and have some, I mean, broad, and see the broad opinion and view and see the consequences, read the future, and this is something more important. But only, okay, please sit, and sometimes that, please tell me about the ayah and the surah, as if they can make conclusion from the ayah about their subject. All right. I'm not objecting that, and I still, as my services to people, I continue to do that. But brothers and sisters, we need to do mashwara, istishara. And istikhara in the second place, that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam tells us that when you want to start any important issue, 100 times say, Astaghfirullah bi rahmatihi khiyaratan fi afiyah. Instead of doing istikhara with the tasbih, with the beats, or with the ayah, the Quran, never. Which means that I seek the goodness about this matter from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Say it 100 times. This Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says. Astaghfirullah bi rahmatihi khiyaratan fi afiyah. في عافية. أستغفر الله برحمته خيرة في عافية. I seek the goodness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about this matter. Yeah? And that is what Imam Sadiq said in istighfar. The fourth point, which is important too, that moderation in every measure. Not to go extreme. And you know, extremism has two sides. Either going extreme right or extreme left. There is a joke about somebody He was on the floor of his house. There were no walls. And he was on the verge of falling down. And people warned him, oh, don't come closer, that you are on the verge of falling down. He went back and from the other side fell down. So sometimes extreme in going ahead or extreme of withholding and going back. And that extremism, again nowadays, is one of the most dreadful problems of some Muslims. Yes? Imam Ali alayhi salam in maxim number 70 says that the one who goes for extremism in either side, positive or negative, is ignorant. Ignorant. He says, لا ترى الجاهل إلا مفرطا أو مفرطا. Either ifrat or tafrit. Ifrat, which means that to exaggerate and go extreme in doing something without stopping, and mufarrit is the one withholds and doesn't go forward. So here the Imam says that the ignorant person acts in extreme manner on both sides, negative and retardation. So in order not to be ignorant, to be a reasonable person, a person who has logic and mind, we have to seek moderation. And here I chose 6 aspects of moderation for you, and all of them from Nahj Balagha, within the community, within society. First, in spending. We read in Surah Al-Isra, in Surah Al-Furqan, Surah number 25, that is another story. In Surah Al-Furqan, Surah number 25, ayah 67, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about Ibadur Rahman, Allah's good servants. And Allah mentions 14 characteristics, 14. So inshallah, when you go home, open Surah number 25, Surah Al-Furqan, and وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا, to the end of the surah. So in one of them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that who are Ibadur Rahman, the good servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. Those, when they spend, they neither extravagant in their spending nor miserly. So both of them, and Allah blesses the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ali alayhi salam tries to put this in different way, indeed similar to that, and addresses Muslims by saying, كن سمحا ولا تكن مبذرا وكن مقدرا ولا تكن مقترا. And this is maxim number 33. So maxim 33 in Nahj Balagha exactly explains what is in Quran 25:67. Be generous but not extravagant. Be thrifty, not miserly. So this is in spending. The other aspect about, normally people work for the livelihood, work for income, ask for salary, ask for money to run whatever or to meet the financial needs. In his letter and his will to Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, which is one of the gems, one of the nicest wise father's advice to his son, and that is in letter, you know that Nahj Balagha consists of 3 chapters: sermons, letters, then maxims. So in letter number 31, when the Imam advises his son, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, and each part of that deserves learning, and I don't know if one course will be arranged to cover only this advice of Imam Ali alayhi salam to his son Imam Hassan. Maybe other colleagues have done that before or are going to deal with it in the next sessions. I don't know, because I can't read their minds and didn't see their works. Anyway, so the Imam tells his son Imam Hassan, وَعَلَّمْ يَا بُنَيْ أَنَّ الرِّزْقَ رِزْقَانِ رِزْقٌ تَطْلُبُهُ وَرِزْقٌ يَطْلُبُكَ. Know, my son Hassan, that livelihood is of two kinds. One that you seek and the other that seeks you. So sometimes people exhaust themselves, put much effort to do a good business, more benefit, more money. Okay. But the Imam tells us, look, be moderate. Neither sit at home, say that, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send me and there is no need for me to work. Not to be on the other side of the extremism, that you work and work, as if there is no provider. إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينِ. So, not to sit at home and, oh, Allah will make it. This is not acceptable. And not to exhaust yourself and ignore your family and ignore your other duties and always rushing and working towards money. No, be moderate. This is the second aspect of moderation. Now, it is interesting to note that even about acts of worship, ibadah, even about the acts of worship, Imam Ali alayhi salam said that إِنَّ لِلْقُلُوبِ إِقْبَالًا وَإِدْبَارًا فإذا أقبلت فاحملوها على النوافل وإذا أدبرت فاقتصروا بها على الفرائض. And this is in Maxim 312. Sometimes hearts are ready to do good and are ready to work hard in seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, approval of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes you see, not that. I don't have energy, I don't have that interest in doing good. So, iqbal and idbar. Iqbal means when something comes, rush towards you. Idbar means that can back to you. So, hearts are having both. Either in the psychology, you see that they are prepared to do something good, and sometimes no, they are withholding. So when it is the opportunity of readiness, you do the obligatory acts of worship and the voluntary. Now, the voluntarily active worship, acts of worship. But when you see that, oh, you are not ready for it, you stick only to wajibat and don't go for extra. So this is, again, a moderate approach. First aspect was about spending, sucking, working for money and livelihood. Third, about acts of worship. About speech. I'm sure that you've seen some colleagues or friends or neighbors, they are a chatterbox. Speak, 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 speak. And they can't stop. And whatever you try to tell them, either directly or indirectly, oh, I cannot. No, still they continue as if they do not know anything. So, some others are sitting silent for hours and hours, they don't utter a word. So this extreme and that's extreme. Imam Ali alayhi salam said that, no, again be moderate. Neither to be a chatterbox. Why? Because in Maxim 349, in Nahj Balagha, the Imam says, "Man kathura kalamuhu, kathura khata'uhu." Those who speak more commit more errors. So you try to speak to the point. If you can explain something or express something in 5 minutes, that's fine. Why do you bother yourself and bombard the others with 2 hours and non-stop complaint and work? And sometimes within the family it is considered to be nagging, right? And that has, of course, negative impact on the other spouse, all right? So, in another nice description of a brother, وَكَانَ لِي أَخٌ, which is great, that Imam alayhi salam, as the commander of faithful, as the most learned person, as the gate to the city of knowledge of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said in the authentic hadith, "Ana madinatul ilm wa aliyun babwa." The Imam is admiring and describing a believer, a brother. He said, "Wakana li akhun." There was a brother, a brother-in-law, and he describes all his merits and characteristics. But I quote only one. وَكَانَ عَلَى مَا يَسْمَعُ أَحْرَصَ مِنْهُ عَلَى أَنْ يَتَكَلَّمَ. He was more eager for listening than speaking. Okay? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us 2 ears, 1 mouth. Why? We have 2 receivers, but 1 broadcaster. So we have to learn a lesson from that. Which means that when you listen, of course, to something which you benefit from, the Imam admires that brethren to say, وَكَانَ عَلَى مَا يَسْمَعُ أَحْرَصَ مِنْهُ عَلَى يَتَكَلَّمَ. So if you listen, you keep silent, you may learn more. But when you take all the time and don't allow others to, okay? So it is again to be moderate. So to be moderate in spending, to be moderate regarding livelihood, to be moderate about the acts of worship, and the 5th one about speech and keeping silent. The other one is about hope and despair. The balance and moderation between being fearful and disappointed or being in full hope. The Imam alayhi salam in one occasion said that I advise you by 5 characteristics. لو ضربتم آباط الإبل إليها لكانت لها أهلا. If you spend maximum energy to get them, it's worth it. The first and second, لا يرجون أحد منكم إلا ربه ولا يخافن إلا ذنبه. Hope and despair are very, very normal and natural things in our lives. Indeed, whatever we do, we either in a hope to achieve something and get something that brings benefit to us, of course we have to fear of something wrong will happen to us, so always to keep away from it. And this is the balance between them. if you want to have hope in anything, put your hope only in your Lord. لا يرجون أحد منكم إلا ربه. But if you fear something, you fear about disobedience. ولا يخافن إلا ربه. If you are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and acting in the path of obedience, don't fear anyone. You are the strongest one in the world. But the moment you break one of the laws, the moment you do something in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the beginning of fear, and you should be fearful about it. So the balance between these two, and how nicely in Khutbat al-Muttaqeen, which is sermon number 93, when one of his companions, called Hammam, asked him, said, "Oh, Abu Hassan, describe the pious to me. صف لي المتقين حتى كأني أنظر إليهم." As if I can see them. Sometimes some people have the ability to explain something that you feel it. That is the art of what? Articulating and speaking and elaborating on the subject. That's talking about something that, as if you feel it, you are facing it. So Hammam asked Imam Ali alayhi salam, said that, describe the pious to me as if I feel them, I see them, I face them. Imam Ali alayhi salam described and recited an ayah from the Quran, and I said, no, I want more. So the Imam started to speak about that. That is one of, again, the most eloquent sermons of Nahj Balagha. Then describes the pious by 10 points as introduction. It goes on. One of them is this: فهم والجنة كمن قد رآها فهم فيها منعمون وهم والنار كمن قد رآها فهم فيها معذبون. There is a phrase in Farsi, and I'll translate it later on. Says that شنیدن کی بود مانند دیدن. Hearing about something is not like seeing it. Okay? So we hear, we read about paradise. We read about the hellfire. But Imam al-Islam says that the muttaqin, the pious people are, when they hear about paradise, it is as if they are in it and they are enjoying the bliss of paradise. فهم والجنة كمن قد رآها فهم فيها منعمون. And when they hear any ayah of the Quran about hellfire, it is as if they are part of it and they are burning in the flames of fire. Which means it is not as they hear it, no, as they feel it, as part of it. So this is again the balance between fear and hope. And the last point, Imam Ali alayhi salam notices something very funny. See that people's judgments about me are again of two extreme ends. Some of them, they love me until they call me a Lord. And some others hate me until they say I am a kafir. It's strange. Sometimes keep their limits, but about Imam Ali alayhi salam, still, in Turkey I saw many people, and in Syria, that they, when the name of Imam Ali alayhi salam is said, they say, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illahu. Okay? And some others say that when they heard that Imam Ali alayhi salam was struck by the sword of Abdurrahman ibn Muljim in the mosque of Kufa, was Ali praying that he was struck in the mosque? You see, two different judgments to the extreme two ends. So Imam alayhi salam said that halaka fi rajulan muhibbun ghalin wa mubghidun qalin. That this extreme in those who love me to the extent that they exaggerate about me. No, they are not on the right path. And some others who hate me until they attribute certain, many faults to me. Both are not on the right path. So the way that we consider Imam Ali alayhi salam, the commander faithful, the city of the knowledge of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the head of the pious people, the real teacher of Quran, the one who was with the Quran and Quran who was with him all the time. But still, he is a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says that I am none but a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you want to make sure about it, go to Dua Kumayl every Thursday evening and see how Imam alayhi salam communicates with his Lord in the maximum of humility and humbleness. Okay? So, we spoke about, or we discussed justice, then about concealment of the faults, to consult those who have more experience, about moderation in everything, and the last point or the last task in the teachings of Imam Ali alayhi salam, we get it from Nahj Balagha, is to compete with one another in offering good deeds. The basis for that we find in the Quran, and that is istabiqul khayrat, compete with one another in doing good. But when Imam Ali alayhi salam was making his last will to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, he advised them with many fantastic things. One of them, Allah fil Quran, la yasbiqannakum bil amali bihi ghayrukum. No one should excel you in acting upon the Quran and its teachings. So which means that there is a competition continuously to be in the front line. And every year you hear or see the marathon, tens of thousands of people are struggling to be the first one to reach the finish point. So while this is so important for those who get the medals, or they are announced heroes or breaking the records, you see that what is important in a safe and healthy community, that people compete with one another to offer a better good deeds, a better plan to educate people, a better way of handling their matrimonial issues, a better way in giving the right advice, a better way to enjoining good and forbidding evil, offering amr ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, a better way of keeping in the path of guidance. And in order to secure that, one very important lesson is offered by the Prophet ﷺ and Imam Ali alayhi salam and other Imams. And that is the self-accounting, محاسبة النفس. In Maxim 208, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, من حاسب نفسه ربح ومن غفل عنها خسر. Whoever takes account of his or herself benefits a lot. Those who neglect it will suffer and be in loss. And when we ask Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, "Oh, our Imam, how do you elaborate on the words of your grandfather, great-grandfather, the Prophet, the Imam Ali alayhi salam?" The Imam Sadiq alayhi salam tells us that every night before you go to bed, take a piece of paper and a pen. See how many good deeds you offer today. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. Decide that next day I'm going to make it 12. Next week I'm going to make it 14. The month later I'm making it 20, and so on. And make another list for, God forbid, any negative points, any evil acts, any sins, any wrongdoings. Yeah. And make a list of them. And decide that tomorrow, if they were 10, tomorrow I'm going to make it 9. Next week I'm going to make it 8. Next month I'm going to make it 7. And in this way, as all people in business have their balance sheet, the accountants, the chartered accountants, and those who offer the final accounts for the year, this is the self-accounting in the spiritual way, not in the financial. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to act upon these guidelines for ourselves, for our families, for our community, and for the benefit of the whole mankind. And let's come to one conclusion, and that is, if anyone wants to have the guidelines for the best advice, they should refer to Nahj al-Balagha. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.